everybody. Great to see you back on Cricket Tracker Social Show in the air with me, Navedna Prabhu, and of course in the studios as well. I have Pratyay Tiwari joining me once again. We're discussing day three of the fifth and final rescheduled test match between England and India. Right now, at the moment, India definitely looks very comfortable because they have it, down to 84 for 5 on Team England's side. We did expect, Joe Root to be doing the job for them, but looks like that is not going to happen. Dusri taraf, Bumrah in absolute, lethal fire. If you look at one aspect, he's of course batted as well in that over yesterday against Stuart Broad. Lekin also with the ball 3 for 35. But one thing to, of course, to be looking at the day two summary is between England and India. This is where they stand. But coming back to certain performances, I think at the moment, Pratyay, first of all, welcome back. Great to get talking to you once again. Bairstow is still at the crease, right? And now, what job Pant also went on to do? Because if we just rewind back to day one as well, we did see India collapsing, but then from there on, Pant, Jadeja, did the needful, and then we had Bumrah as well. So if that had to be a repeat for the England side, we can expect one from a Bairstow to do the needful. Who else could possibly be stepping up if at all England has to change things around for them from here on?
See, I think pressure is definitely on them because when you are having that kind of a total 400 runs in front of you, it's never easy. And with five down, and considering the fact that there was not a lot of cricket that was played yesterday, I think India was actually absolutely in the box seat, taking 5 wickets and in very little time because England has not really batted a lot many overs. And even in that, the amount of time that they have spent in the middle, they have not actually been able to score a lot of runs. So I think, of course, pressure is definitely on them. And Joe Root, I think he was the bigger wicket. I mean, the biggest wicket on the day was of his. Bairstow, he has been, of course, informed. We saw what he did against New Zealand. But as I said, that as we were expecting that if you talk about this particular lineup of India, it is not that kind of a lineup which will be manhandled the same way perhaps New Zealand was. So I think that is one thing that you have to factor in as well. And I think it's just a matter of one partnership. Agreed, of course, because that's what exactly we saw India doing, 98 for 5. You could not have thought that they will even get anywhere close to even 400 at that point in time, but they managed to do that. But the stark difference in that situation and here is that when India was playing, they did not have a mountain to climb. They did not have any 400, 500 runs in front of them. At the moment, England has that pressure because they know that there's a long road that they have to travel, and then you are looking at perhaps also trying to score more runs than your opposition to give them some sort of to give yourself some sort of a lead. So I think pressure is definitely on. But if you're talking about one pair that actually can bail them out, it is already at the crease. Stokes and Bairstow. These are the two players that you have to watch out for. There's Billings to come, but I think I think this is the pair that you would be looking at if you are an England supporter.
Right, and of course, it comes to the bowling aspect of India as well to kind of break that partnership just in case that comes into play. Having said that, let's take a quick look at the bowling. Card of Team India and how many wickets did who pick up. Mohammad Siraj 1 for 5, Mohammad Shami 1 for 33, Jasprit Bumrah once again 3 for 35. I think no surprises for guessing because Pratyay had also made this prediction. If you just rewind to yesterday when we were talking about who are the bowlers that could really get that start for Team India, I think you did speak about Bumrah. Siraj as well seems super excited after getting that wicket. Are you expecting him to get more wickets? Always fantastic seeing him in England as well. Last year also he picked up some crucial wickets in this particular test series. So what's your takeaway? Whose tally are we going to see increase? Is it Bumrah, Shami or Siraj on a lighter note?
Well, I think Siraj, I mean, very bold, very little because you saw Shami and Bumrah operating in tandem yesterday. And because of
Yeah.
those breaks, they got a bit of rest as well, fresh legs. You go back, you do not have, when you continuously bowl, you get a little bit tired because you're running in hard and you have to give your 100% when you're bowling at this level. But I think those breaks really helped. And that is what we saw. I mean, Shami, yes, the wickets column is not showing as much as it is showing for Jasprit Bumrah, but I think even he was absolutely phenomenal. Perhaps if you actually look at who bowled better, you might as well say that it was Shami who actually delivered a better spell, but he was slightly unlucky to not get wickets, which is often the case with him. I mean, if you actually gauge the way he bowls, many a time you would see that he bowls really well, but does not actually get those many wickets.
Right.
But I think Siraj, I think you have to give him credit as well. But a little bit of that also has to go to Shami because the way he tested both Bairstow and even Root for that matter. And when Siraj came in, immediately he gets the wicket of Joe Root. So I think in very little time he struck early and got that big wicket that India would have wanted to get rid of as early as possible, because he has been the man in form. I mean, if you look at the last couple of years, and if you're talking about Test batsmanship, probably there would not be too many people who would be coming close to Joe Root. So you want to that if he's that kind of a player, you want him to be out as early as possible, because even in this series, he has got knocks of substance. He scored a 180 at Lords, another century in the series already. So you know that what he's capable of. So Siraj, of course, but I think given the fact that Jasprit Bumrah has already struck thrice, perhaps you would expect him to end up as the leading wicket taker in this particular innings. But I think world class bowlers, all three of these, and you can expect them to give some tough times to the English batters.
All right, and my producer has something very interesting for us that she sent across, saying that Harsha Bogli said, one day Shami will bowl only half as good as this and take 5 wickets. I mean, that's quite an
Absolutely.
interesting way to look at it. But I see a lot of people join us, and hi to all of you from Pratyay and me as well. I'll take a quick question before we dive into the weather and social tracker as well. Arnab Ghosh saying that what should be the score India would like to keep under in its first innings, Pratyay?
As little as possible. I mean, if you are India, you would of course want to. I mean, 84 for five, you have your tails up, and England, of course, having the backs against their walls, because as I said, I mean, when you have 400 runs, it's a lot of runs. I mean, it's all good that they won 3-0, but that is what we keep on saying. I mean, it's every day is a new day in cricket, and you have to consistently perform. England was the side which was coming with momentum on their side, and you would have thought that probably everyone, I mean, every one of us had a thought that England 3-0, they are playing at their home conditions. India, on the other hand, has actually not had that much red ball cricket, because the last time they played was back at home against Sri Lanka in March, April. So you know that it's not a team which has had a lot of red ball diet coming into this series. But as you see, I mean, world class performance with the bat. I mean, 98 for five. You get Pant and Jadeja doing their thing, taking you to 416, and then being backed up by that kind of performance that Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Shami and Siraj gave yesterday. So I think at this point of time, you would perhaps, if you can keep them, and even try for enforcing a follow on, that would be getting too ahead of ourselves at the moment. But I think that, of course, I mean, as an opponent captain, as a visiting captain, you would of course want to restrict them to as little as possible. So I think if India could manage to, even because on this track, it's not going to become any easy as you progress into the match. It is not going to become any easy. So even if you manage to take a 70 or 80 or 100 run lead, that could well prove to be decisive. And at the moment, strictly speaking, in the sense that where match stands right now, things can happen. Of course, I mean, cricket's a funny game, but at the moment, you will suspect that perhaps India is in a position where they might as well get a lead of maybe 100, who knows. So I think it's important for them to strike early, get out quick wickets, and as I said, if you can get these two out, Besto and Stokes, then you have got almost everything in your kitty.
All right, so that is of course a particular question. आप सबको क्या लगता है? Even if India has to win this one, looking at everything right now, by how many runs, wickets, what do you think the outcome of this fifth and final test match is going to be? Because all of us are waiting for it. I'll quickly take another observation from Ronald Davis, who has said that Indian bowlers were exceptional, bowled in the right areas, inviting the batters to drive, but England bowlers missed the plot by bowling too many short length deliveries, and we know who took advantage of that, right? With the fact that England bowlers were having that short length deliveries. Coming back to a particular question that's doing on Twitter is, can we call Jadeja Mr Dependable in Test for India, or is that too soon to state?
We should start calling him that already. I mean, there's no reason why you would want to wait any further. I mean, look at what he's been doing in the last 2-3 years in the test format. As I said, that he is a player who is an asset. It's an absolute asset. No matter which team he turns out for, no matter which format he is playing, he is a player you will always want to keep your eyes on, because the amount of the repertoire that he has, the skill set that he has, someone who can contribute in equal proportion with the ball, with the bat, in the field. And now, I mean, of course, his stint with Chennai Super Kings as a captain was not as good as he would have liked, or to anyone's liking for that matter. But he is now, I mean, having captained 7-8 games, perhaps he has developed some sort of a knack of maybe even leadership. So who knows? I mean, even in the future, you might as well see a Jadeja who is actually, bringing himself onto the fore as a leader as well. So I think, given all of that and given the kind of performances he has given, striking with the lower order, I mean batting 7, 8, these are not easy positions to bat yourself in, because unlike top order batters or middle order batters, perhaps most of the time when you're batting in these positions, you're batting with the tail. So there
Right.
is the dynamics entirely change. And there too, even against Sri Lanka, a brilliant knock of 175 that he played this year. So he has, I mean, his rise has been absolutely phenomenal. And I think one of the chief contributors to India's success in the last couple of years, if you actually look at what India has managed to achieve in the Test format, perhaps he is very underrated in that sense. But the rankings don't lie, the numbers don't lie. You see where he is headed towards, and absolutely a gun player. I mean, no doubt about that.
All right, so we hope that answers everybody's questions who are asking on Twitter about this. Arnab Ghosh says he agrees with you that Bairstow and Stokes is the main pair. Nehra Yogi asking us if we have an official app. Well, not yet, but you never know. In the pipeline we could be having it. But if you want to read all our articles about the latest news, go to cricktracker.com. And if you like fantasy cricket, go to our Telegram channel. And if you like videos, then go to our YouTube channel. So we are, of course, covered everywhere on social media to answer your particular question. Now, talking about one aspect about this particular game, which is the third member playing as well, is the rain. So let's take a quick look at what the weather update is and to find out if यहाँ पे कोई बारिश की अगर गुंजाइश है. यहाँ पे looks like clear skies, it looks sunny, so that's fantastic news. Guessing that the full overs of the play will be happening. Pratay, of course, this is the weather report coming in looks fantastic, but you never know with English weather and English conditions. But if it does rain, how do we see this pan out? Because especially in the World Test Championship final, we did see the whole introduction of reserve day. That's not an option over here. How will it pan out just in case it rains? If you could just give us a viewpoint about that.
I think as of now the game has moved pretty quickly, because you did not have a lot of game yesterday. That there was not a lot of overs that were bowled, and even on the first day you lost around 18, 19 overs, which is a lot. I mean, given the pace at which this game is moving, you really don't know what might happen in 18 or 19 overs. So I think that yes, we have lost a fair bit of cricket. There's no way you can. I mean, having lost as much as you have lost to the rain, there is no way you can make up. But I think the forecast for the next 2 days is pretty clear. Fingers crossed, of course. But for today, it's slightly gloomy. But I still think, because 15 wickets, I mean, test matches, you're looking at 40 wickets. If 15 have fallen by the end of day two, despite that test wicket that has happened,
Yeah.
you still think that you might end up getting a result, and that is what you would want, because till now, so far, the way this game has gone and the way it has shaped, it would be really very shameful if it ends up being washed out, or if we get it abandoned because of rain. So I mean, of course, we would want a result, and I think it should be enough. I mean, whatever time we have, it should be enough for us to have a result.
And I don't think anybody will be sadder than, of course, everybody will be, but I think Pratya and me will be even more sadder because we waited for a year to actually get chatting about, this particular series. I'll come to another question that Ronald Davis has sent us, but before that, let's take a look at what's happening on Social Tracker, and I'll take your question after that, Davis. If you could see what are the tweets about in terms of everything to do with today's game. Sunrisers Hyderabad saying, time to finish a job that was well begun yesterday. Team India will begin day 3 eyeing a significant first innings lead. Reaction of Virat Kohli when Ravindra Jadeja completed a terrific 100. All right, Virat in his mode. RCB tweeting, mood going into day 3 at Paston. And of course, it's Harbhajan Singh's birthday today. So BCCI has, tweeted on this occasion saying 367 international games, 7,111 international wickets, and 3,569 international runs. First Indian to scalp a Test hat trick, 2000 World Cup T20 and 2011 World Cup winner. Here's wishing Harbhajan Singh, one of the finest to represent Team India, a very happy birthday. All right, so it is Irfan Pathan also tweeting saying Bumrah, Shami, Siraj, they are the best test bowlers you can get in one team. No breather for batters, rightly put across. Okay, coming to that Turbinator's birthday today, Harbhajan Singh. What is a favorite memory of yours, Pratay? You could tell us, and all our viewers as well. अगर आपका कोई favorite memory है, wishing Harbhajan Singh, मुझे बताइए comment section में. Coming to you, Pratay, any particular match that you thought was absolutely fantastic?
Well, many would come to mind, but the way he troubled, I mean, of course, I was very young back then, so I have not been able to catch those actions live. But the way he troubled Australians in the 2001 series, Ricky Ponting, even he, I mean, of course, we had to, I mean, YouTube videos were to our rescue because I was only 4, so I could not have watched cricket back then. I was not even following the sport. But I think that was peak Harbhajan in many senses. And I mean, he has gone on to play 100 test matches, 103, 104. That's in itself an immense feat. I mean, the era that he was competing in, of course, the competition, you might argue that was not as high as it is today. But in that era, he was, I mean, formed a formidable partnership with Anil Kumble. And entire decade, I mean, he went on to, dominate as an off spinner. Perhaps I feel that he had easily, I mean, maybe 20, 30 more test matches in him. But due to various reasons, he could not really play, I mean, as long as we would have wanted. But a champion player, I mean, you look at whichever format you pick up, test matches, of course, but there's IPL he has contributed to immensely, ODI cricket, T20I cricket, whatever you talk about, he's an absolute champion player. And of course, we wish him a very happy birthday as well.
That's right. And Ronald Davis talking about how satisfying it is for the bowler to pick up a wicket on the reloaded final delivery of the over due to no ball. Okay, that's quite an observation as well. I was hoping to get some reactions about Harbhajan Singh, but I guess we've run out of time as well. So on that very particular note, before we sign up, you have given us a little bit of preview as to what we can expect. But obviously, I have to put you in the spotlight and trouble you a little bit. So tell me this: where do you think they're going to end up by the time we get to T? What number are we looking at?
Well, if you're talking about Indian fans' perspective, you would want as early as possible. You would want these two out because, as I said, that it's a situation which is slightly similar to what we saw at Headingley. 55 for 6, England were against New Zealand, and they managed to kind of fight themselves back. India as well. I mean, if you look at the situations, 98 for 5, they were at the end of day around 1, and then they managed to fight back, wrestle themselves back into contention. So at this moment, yes, of course, England is under pressure. But as I said, I mean, you cannot rule out a double century partnership between these
What
two
is the
players.
number you're giving me? If I were to ask you a number, what is the number?
I think by the end of lunch session, you mean?
Yeah.
I think another, say, 70 runs added in this session, 70, 75 for the loss of 2 wickets. That's my prediction. But India would want more wickets than that, of course. So
All
75
right.
for 2 in this session, maybe.
All right, this is Professor Pratik giving us a very practical, preview, but I'm pretty sure he wants it packed much before that. But what is going to be happening and what else can we have in store for us in this really exciting England versus India test? Because, like I said right at the beginning, we're all waiting for a result and we want to see what is the outcome going to be. Just hoping, like all of us are, that the rain does not play a villain once again. On that very note, I want to thank all of you for coming in and interacting with us, and Pratik once again for taking the time out and getting his views on the show. But don't forget to follow Cricket Tracker everywhere so that you are updated about everything happening in the world of cricket. We both will see you very soon once again right here.